He had choked me in the process and threw me into the kids' room. And the boys were, get off my mama, and he pushed them. So they got tied into the case of child endangerment. Yet again, he embarrassed the out of me on stand. He didn't have a lawyer, so he got to question me, cross-examine me, and it
Wow.
was just ludicrous to the point of the judge granted restraining orders for both of us. Because he just at that point he just said both of y'all need to stay away from each other. Just that relationship of never standing up for me made me rebellious. I think I took more of the harder roads, trying not to be like my mother, which is the craziest thing, to ultimately only end up just like her. I have an older daughter, and I think to a point where she tried to take my child and right her wrongs with my children. She's tried to be a better grandmother than she was a mother, but it only kept on the family curse. And I'm just going to really admit that I was broken up until, I'm going to say, my brain surgery. I had to be in my own head, because when you're recovering from something, there's nothing you can do but lay there. My daughter, when she was 13, she's 16 now, she tried to kill herself. She shot herself with a 45. And thank God I didn't lose my child. So he basically told me, I hope this $50 is good enough for you and your goddamn job workout. Don't call us anymore for anything. And that was
The pastor?
Yes, sir. The pastor. The pastor. And I said, well, okay.
Welcome back to Life Coaching by Mel, where we speak truth regarding the nuclear family. Guys, I love taking time to speak one-on-one with individuals where we can get their real stories, their real struggles, but also their real healing. Today is one of those episodes that I believe will truly touch hearts and open eyes. I'm joined today by a powerful content creator and a mother and a survivor by the name of Be-YoutiFUlly NaNa. And she has agreed to courageously come on here and share her story to the fullest. You guys don't want to miss this, but I want to put a quick disclaimer out there. This is not one of those gotcha interviews, not one of those times I'm going to push back a lot. We're really going to take this in, all the information, everything she wants to share, because I do know this is part of her healing journey. YouTube and the microphone and the camera was there for me when I was freshly divorced and I was going through my healing journey and trying to figure out what life is like now. And I want to be that avenue for others as well. But we're going to talk about how she survived domestic violence, how she went through physical, mental abuse, and how all that pain even affected her children. And on top of all of this, Nana just went through a gruesome brain surgery just 7 months ago. So this makes her story not just a story of survival, but it's a story of unshakable strength. So let's get right into it. Be-YoutiFUlly NaNa, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful, blessed, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my honor and pleasure. I appreciate you for being here. You were on a panel a couple weeks back with a couple other ladies, and we briefly got into your story. I thought it'd be great to bring you on and we can break it down because it's a lot there. It sounds like something that many people in my audience or just people across YouTube streets can really benefit from. So I really appreciate you being willing to do this first and foremost. And I'm going to let you know I'm going to handle this with care because, I do know that YouTube was here for me when I was, going through a divorce and I was going through a lot of my transition, and it was part of my healing process, getting these things out. If it wasn't nobody but two people listening, at that time, I was able to get things out, and sometimes it can help. But definitely, I want to handle this with care and not, if anything you're sensitive about or any time you need to say, hey, give me a break or whatever the case may be, we could do so. But I thought it'd be nice to get it started by, going from the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Who were you and what were you going through before everything happened?
Well, I am Be-YoutiFUlly NaNa. Let's start. Mother of three, now about to be a divorcee. I am a licensed mortician, a funeral director. I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. Also am a teacher. So a little bit of jack of all trades, only child, didn't have anything to do. So I decided to be in school, graduated from OU with a business degree. So quite a few things up under my belt with that to say. So I'm here.
Yeah. So how did the relationship with your ex-husband, how did that all begin?
um, we would have been married 5 years on Veterans Day. 11/11 is our actual anniversary, and we met through Facebook. Um, we met on a poly group site. Um, I initially commented up under his post. No one else commented. I commented up under the post, and he reached out to me. And when he reached out to me, he was going through some issues with his father. Well, actually, his father had just passed, and he said he was looking for someone to talk to. I was transitioning in my life at that particular moment. So I was kind of open and receptive to what he was offering or bringing to the table. So we kind of moved very fast. I think we dated for a couple months and we were married, went to Vegas and we got married. Which if I look at it now and look back on it, a lot of red flags. It was so many red flags that we should have never done it. But I think the reason why I did it, well, a woman always wants security. She always wants that feeling that someone has her back. This man is being this man that I'm, my parents have been married 30 years. So all I've known is people being married. So that is ultimately your goal to try to do. So um I was in that moment to receive what I thought was great. But the reality of it, I think it was more of a grooming. I think he was more of a narcissist. He knew exactly what he was looking for. And I think I was gullible. I think the fact that I wanted to be loved so much that I was willing to ignore the red flags the guy was saying, but I was like, oh well, it's small, I thought. And then it turned into something. As the years went on, it wasn't small. It was a big red flag from the start. I think his sister, while we were in Vegas, actually told me that I really shouldn't have done it and who he was. And that's kind of like the second time in my life that someone's family has told me about them and I didn't take heed when I should have. And I always believe if a person's family tell you about them, believe it because they ought to know that person way better than you do. But I just believed the lies that I was told.
Indeed.
And yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple times there about those red flags that you know chose to believe and chose to ignore and chose to believe the lies. Are you comfortable sharing maybe the what they were, what those red flags were?
Um his his red flag to me, we were already arguing. Like I said, we went to Vegas and got married, and the entire time trying to find the chapel, we were literally passing a bottle of tequila and arguing on the way to the chapel. So that was like a big red flag, like the entire, because you have to really walk everywhere in Vegas, and we
Yeah.
literally were passing a bottle of 1800. Just we literally getting drunk to even get to this point.
Mm.
Also, it was too early. We never dated, and I truly believe, looking back, it's okay to date people. It's okay to find out if you guys truly mesh. I just didn't like some of the behaviors that he displayed, his etiquette, and I think that was another red flag. I didn't like his beliefs, and then I decided to convert. But if you look back on it, he didn't even know his own beliefs. He was following someone he saw on YouTube, and I just don't think that he was comfortable with who he was. And if you're not comfortable with who you are, and you're not ready to lead a household, you're not going to lead them right. It's ultimately going to be destruction.
You describing something that you haven't said directly. I want to take a stab at it, if you don't mind. This belief
Go
you're talking
ahead.
about. You talking about the Hebrew Israelites?
Yes. Yeah.
How did I know?
Because that's what everybody is into nowadays, or trying to holler. And I think the only reason why they're trying to take that up is to have the multiple women. It's not what it's really meant to be for. It's just an excuse to say, oh, I want to have multiple women and get away with it in public and try to put God behind it. And I don't necessarily agree with the way that they move, but hey, that's people's own beliefs. But it is not right. Nor is he that right man to be in a poly or whatever. He just wasn't. He wasn't a great leader. Let me just say that. He was a liar. He was a cheater. And being in those type of relationships, you can't be a liar or a cheater. You have to have an open book to make everyone feel comfortable. But yes, he's an Israelite. And I don't know if you've seen, it's a guy here on TikTok, YouTube. His name is Judah. He actually wrote a book. He has about 7 wives now. And it's a big kind of thing on Facebook. Definitely would have to tag you into it and show you the book and the controversy behind it. But he definitely stands on it. But hey.
Yeah, you're right about that. From what I know, it seems like those men are pretty principled, and they have a chain of command, basically, where they hold the men accountable, that the husband accountable for their interactions or how they act within those poly relationships. So I'd love to hear more. And so, just because I know somebody in the audience is going to be very curious, that you all carry out that type of relationship, or
no. We never got to that point because ultimately he was a liar. Just coming to find out, he would create Facebook accounts or dating accounts with me and my picture and talk to women as if it was me, which was creepy to me. So I never wanted to pursue any of that because the honesty was never there in a relationship. It was a constant hiding things. We never knew each other's finances. We never knew each other made at their job. Like it was, we were more so roommates than husband and wife.
Yeah.
To me.
I got it. And so you guys move pretty fast. Red flag. He's a liar. You're stepping into this religion or this organization that you not fully comfortable with, but there was love there, right? There was love there. Am I right? Or
we grew to love each other. Let me just, we grew to love each other because ultimately we didn't know each other when we got married. We didn't. I don't even think we were dating 2 months before we had got married. So I don't love, no, it was not there in the beginning, but we learned to love each other. I definitely learned to love him, and wanted my marriage, even though it didn't start the correct way, but it never could get on track. Every time to me, when I said I do, things just changed. He changed. He turned into a totally different person. Then I became his property. I didn't have any rights. He, the arguments start getting worse. The fights start getting physical to the point where the laws were called. He went to jail several times. My kids were kind of scared at it, and it just became this back and forth so much. We just got immune to it. My kids got immune to it. I ultimately, one night, trying to get away from him, I tore my ACL. So I completely had to have knee surgery, constructive surgery. And in the midst of that, when people asked me, I just told them I was playing basketball with my kids and messed up my leg. But the reality of it was I was trying to get away from him and tore my ACL. And so I had to have knee surgery. I'm 7 months post brain surgery. So I had to have brain surgery 7 months ago. And in the 7 months of recovery, I almost died 3 times. And in that 7 months, 3 times he jumped on me. And this last time, it was a wide awakening for me. Like I just said, I could have died 3 times. I could have died on the table with brain surgery. I'm still going through that. And it's over a year to recover from brain surgery. And in the midst of that fight, something just came over me and said enough was enough. And as the old people say, you'll get tired when you get tired. No one can get tired until you do. And at that extra moment, I was tired because I could see it in my kids' face and I could see it in my face. I got tired of being depressed. So for 7 months, I was going through depression because no one was around while I was having brain surgery or recovery. Not even him. He would leave me here all day long, wouldn't care if I got fed, wouldn't answer the phone. I still have seizures for it. I have a brain condition called Chiari malformation type 1, and I was born with it. However, it got triggered when I was assaulted by my brother, and it just kind of escalated from there. Within months, things got worse, and then I had to have brain surgery. So I'm surviving a lot of things in a little amount of time.
Absolutely. And congrats on that, by the way. It's a lot to survive, and you did it. So you're doing it, in the process of doing it. Congratulations on that. Now, you mentioned all this physical abuse, and how grand that is. I can imagine that mental abuse is heavy on you as well. Can you kind of take us through what type of things you're going through mentally throughout this process, and throughout the relationship?
You're right. The physical I learned to avoid. And if anybody has been in the domestic violence, they know what the other party's trigger is or what will lead to ultimately the physical part. So you learn to compartmentalize certain things and you learn how to maneuver. So the physical wasn't as much as the verbal. The verbal was definitely a constant, and it plays with you. I was never. He didn't have any kids. I only have my 3 children from previous relationships. So my choice in my children's father, I was dumb. I'm not a great mother. It was, I'm not a great wife. I'm not a good enough wife because I didn't do the things that he thought that I should be doing as a wife. It was just a constant attack. Like I was never good enough. And after a while, you tend to start believing that. And like I said, I sunk into a big depression. Gained a lot of weight. Ate through a lot of the pain. But I don't even really know how to explain just the mental. It was just narcissistic. And anytime that you get ready to explain yourself, you become the emotional person. You don't know how to control your emotions, or look at you, or you're over talking me, and you don't want to hear what I have to say. But anytime you let an abusive person or narcissistic talk, they never ever tell you what their issues are. It's always goes back to you. It's always around the circle, and it never was resolved. So it messed with me mentally, period. Even the cheating messed with me mentally because you're comparing yourself like, I'm not good enough. You want this, and so you start weighing in on, am I good enough, period, as a person. So it still affects me now. And I think the double hitter for me was my husband was a Virgo and my mother is a Virgo, and they are exactly alike. They attack me, and then when I don't agree to what they say, then I'm a defensive. Oh, you're not right. Oh, you're always getting angry when we try to talk to you or tell you something. Or I just couldn't understand why these two people in this world hate me so much, but everyone else around me, when I go to work or my friends, think I'm the world's greatest person. Think I'm amazing. But these two people that are so close to me that are supposed to cover me are the two people that rock my world or break me down continuously with the mental. Nothing was ever good enough unless you are buying them or doing what they wanted. It was like love what was based off of conditions. I loved you if you did this. I loved you if, and not just I love you regardless. So I think that's where the mental just broke me down until I finally start living up to what beautifully Nana really means. And I created Beautifully Nana years ago. And I honestly, at that time, didn't know why. But now being in the place that I am, I fully know. I've always been a person that never judged people and want people to be them regardless. I have always had to dim my light to make other people feel great. And I've never wanted anybody else to feel like that or should do that. So my name is Be You, and the F and the U are capitalized because it's Be You Fully always. And if you don't like it, F you. So I try to stand on always being me, no matter how it makes anybody else feel, and being genuine in me. And everything that I try to do, I try to lead with love, to not cause any more harm to people because of the things that have happened to me.
Yeah, man, so powerful, so powerful. And I don't know, you hit on something, and I hope you don't mind me going here with
Yeah,
your
I'm an open
mother.
book.
You know, oh great. We talk about mothers on this channel all the time. I talk about my relationship with my mother or lack thereof. We've been estranged probably the last 5 years, off and on relationship here. But I talk about what I learned from a content creator or a guy by the name of Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm not sure if you heard of him, but he talks about forgiving your mother all the time and how that is the root of a lot of our issues. And I came up with the slogan of what we hate, we recreate. And a lot of times until we go back and forgive our mother, we may not quote unquote hate her, but we have a lot of effects, in our lives that she caused. A lot of things that we, a lot of us grew up as either single mother homes or, mom is a predominant voice in the home where she's running rampant and and running the house, and we don't have a father there to control or to help to balance that out. So we going through a lot of different traumas, and we recreate that same situation in our relationship dynamics. And so if you don't mind, I mean, you went through it a little bit in the comparison aspect, but you have to point to a significant aspect of the relationship between you and your mom that really brought you kind of to where you are with these dynamics, you believe. What would that be?
Well, the relationship with my mother, let me start out by saying, I did say, my parents or my father, stepfather, and my mother have been married 30 years. They got together when I was 5. So he is truly the only father figure that I know. But however, they never had children together, and I am the only child. My mother, to me, wanted to be loved too. And don't get me wrong, my stepfather is a great man to a certain extent, and has his own issues and problems that added to it. But the problem was she never stood up for me. The problem is, and I get it, when you get married, you are supposed to covet your husband, and that husband and wife dynamic does come first before the child. But it's certain instances that have gone on between me and my stepfather that I would have thought, she said, would have stepped in and said, okay, this is a bit much or this is enough. But it's never happened. It's never happened. Let me say, with us being in the same room. If she does want to apologize about something or admit to something, it's always in text, in private. away from him. Don't tell him I reached out to you to apologize for something that happened, or oh, forgive him in silence. So we're a family that we never apologize. We just kind of either we stop talking for a little bit, and then after a couple months go on, and we pick up the phone and we're talking, and we act like nothing goes on, but it's always just swept up under the rug. And that's been happening my entire life. So it ultimately triggered me going to school and having all the different degrees, because I was always, my dad is the funeral director. So I took his profession. My mother is a cosmetologist. I took her profession. They both have businesses. So in case something happened to them, I could be able to take over the business. So that's why I chose them. But did I want to? No, no, I didn't. But it was, to me, a way of pleasing and honoring my parents, and trying to live up and be that child. He's also a pastor, so I'm a PK kid. So that's another realm of a person, or that you have to live up to. So the dynamics with my mother, she's never really been a mother. My grandmother kind of raised me. Anytime that I was out of school, breaks or anything, I was always with my grandmother. I tried to live with her, but the only reason why my parents held on to me was because my grandmother was very well off, and took care of everybody. So she would write checks to send to them in case I needed something throughout the year. And Lord knows where they were, because I worked a full-time job in school. And still was on the honor roll, National Honor Society, played sports, and held time, and and paid a car note and insurance. They made me be that responsible. And at the time I was mad, but I'm not mad about it now. But I think just that relationship of never standing up for me made me rebellious. I think I took more of the harder roads, trying not to be like my mother, which is the craziest thing, to ultimately only end up just like her. If that makes any sense. I just,
in perfect sense.
So like I said, she's never ever stood up for me or had my back to me, and when the times counted with the right person, even to the point of, like, I have an older daughter, and I think to a point where she tried to take my child and right her wrongs with my children, if that makes any sense. Like,
No.
She's trying to be a better grandmother than she was a mother, but it only kept on the family curse. And I'm going to say, because it created a wedge between me and my daughter. Like, me and her had a wedge in between us. And I never wanted that with my child, nor did I even want that relationship with my mother. I have tried several times to sit down, talk, tell them how they make me feel. I have been the butt of the jokes when they get around people. I've been tore down. It's hurtful, and I've had to tuck things up under my feet and move throughout the family, to the point now where I just don't even fool with the family because of how I'm treated. And I've gotten to the point where I had to realize I take care of myself. I take care of my children. No one does that. So why am I letting even my parents define me, or allowing that to make me who I was? Because it made me who I was for a long time. It made me bring in the bad relationships, attract things that I shouldn't have been attracting, all because I was broken. And I'm just going to really admit that I was broken. A broken person up until, I'm going to say, my brain surgery, because God honestly I had to sit down. I had to be in my own head, because when you're recovering from something, there's nothing you can do but lay there. You gotta lay there, and you gotta deal, and you gotta cry, and you gotta figure out why people are not around you in the worst time of your life, when you actually need somebody. Why won't anybody call or come to the hospital or come check on you, even your mother? So it was a time for me to heal, and I had to heal my children. Um, my daughter, when she was 13, she's 16 now. She tried to kill herself. She shot herself with a 45. And thank God I didn't lose my child. But
Yeah.
I had to go through that situation by myself. Um, we literally were divided in the hospital. Um, everyone wanted me to go to jail. And it when I tell you with my mama, it's just so much for days and hours that I can talk to you about breaking you down, the anger, the not supporting you, the telling you that you're not good enough to get a scholarship to play sports because you're not white. Not saying, hey, go out there and try it. I never was encouraged by her to be. Sometimes I almost think that she was a little jealous that she didn't get to live her life the way that I got to live my life. Because people say, you look, I'm a spitting image of her. Like I'm literally my mother's twin. So it's almost like I don't know if it's she looks at me in my eyes and looks at herself and realizes I didn't get to do what I wanted to do in my life, because my dad is it's controlling, very controlling, to the point where we were on eggshells growing up. If his phone rung, it's shut up immediately. No one should be talking while he's talking and on the phone. It's silence. It's like it was. He was a military man, and it was very strict, and it was very. He had a very short temper, and some of the things that would come out of his mouth was verbal abuse too. So I think when my husband came along, I accepted a lot of things from the things that I accepted as a child. And you think that shit is right because it's your parents, until you get older and you're like, that's not right, even not from my parents. So I had to realize I had to let my parents go. I love my mother. I want that dynamic like everybody else has. But however, I just don't got that mama. And I don't believe that everything can be fixed, even though it's your parents. Some things and some people you just gotta love from a distance. And because it's better for you. And I just, even though I've tried with her, there's no fixing that dynamic. I've even tried to sit down and say, these are the things that bother me. These are the things that hurt me. These are the things. And in that conversation, it still got brought back to me. It still got brought back to you don't want to listen to nobody. You're a hothead, but no one ever listens to me. Like, even now, my mother does not know my health condition. She does not know when I have seizures or any of these things. And you would think as a mother, you would know this about your child, or you would come to the hospital when she's having this depth of a surgery. It ain't like, I cut my finger or some shit. Like, brain surgery it's pretty in depth. So when I hit that milestone, I just kind of realized some people are never going to change. Some people are who they are. And I believe that my mother is who she is, and she's stuck in her ways. And I can't change her, but I can change me, and I can change the dynamic with my daughter and break that family curse.
Indeed you can. And I won't say, I'm probably say this 1,000 times before we get off the line here. Congrats on that as well, because that's making that move. Choosing to cut your mom off or cut anyone family member off. That's a bold move. That's a courageous move. It's a lot of pressure on that, behind that, especially in our family, Black family dynamic. It's discouraged more than it's encouraged. So I want to say congrats on that, because you chose the let the road less traveled. People don't want to do that, but it's oftentimes the best decision and the only option, honestly, to get that ultimate peace. I want to ask you this one last question on mom, because I talked about earlier on that forgiveness, and so you see the parallel between the relationship you have with her and your husband, and now you have that newfound healing after the brain surgery that you process. I know you said you've had discussions with her before and it went horrible or it went bad. How willing would you be to go to her one last time to tell her, not please forgive me or let's have a discussion and process all this, but the conversation strictly is, I forgive you and I'm moving on. How willing would you be to say that?
Ultimately, I think I have. Like, I still text her. We still have little conversations. I still tell her I love her. We tell each other we love each other. I will be okay to say it, but how effective it will be, I don't think it'll be effective. Like, be honest with you, them two people don't give a fuck. My parents don't care. And my dad has literally just a few weeks ago told me, I needed to put gas in the car, and just starting work, just hard times with, my husband leaving me and left me with everything through this process. And I don't ask my parents for anything. And if I ask, it's because, hey, I really need it. And anybody that knows me knows that. So he was filling up my car, and my mother, I called her for a bit of encouragement because this new job, I had to take this test. And if I didn't take this test, I lost this job. And I ultimately have been waiting to start this job in my life. I didn't have any other choice. So I called her for encouragement because I hadn't had to remember things or to study since this brain surgery. And I was pretty much crashing out because I don't remember things as much. And like I said, it's still a work in progress. So I called for some encouragement. And in the process of that, she wanted to tell me how I was bad and how I needed to fix my attitude. And I basically, in the midst of that moment, told her I couldn't handle it. This is not what I can do right now. What I need from you is this. And I haven't asked you, and I mentioned her and my husband, for anything or anybody. All I'm asking you right now is to just say, hey, it's going to be all right. You got this. You're going to pass this. Yes. That's what I was looking for, not to be tore down in the midst of this moment when I called. And she couldn't even receive that. So I'm quick to get off the phone with a person. Before I disrespect her, I will just get off the phone. So I made some excuse. Hey, so-and-so's calling me, and I got off the phone. So leading back to this gas station thing, she didn't tell him the right thing, or I don't know how it got interpreted, but it got interpreted to my father as if I said that she doesn't do anything for me. She doesn't help me. And what I was saying in the midst of that moment is no one helped me, and no one had been helping me. I had been doing everything by myself, nor had I been asking anyone for anything, because I'm a pretty independent person. I'm very hard-headed. I like to do things for myself. I don't really like asking for help. So that statement wasn't a lie when I said it. And so he got offended and basically said I owed her an apology. And I was like, I don't owe her anything because I didn't say anything wrong. It was the truth. And I'm sorry if the truth hurt, but you haven't been helping me. I mean, you've been telling me all the things I've been doing wrong, but no one's been helping me. So he basically told me, I hope this fucking $50 is good enough for you and your goddamn job workout. Don't fucking call us anymore for anything. And that was
the pastor.
Yes, sir. The pastor. The pastor. And I said, well, okay, fuck it. Cool. But it's one of those, I got to hit the ground running. And I know at this point, that's a broken relationship and dynamic. And lo and behold, a few moments later, here comes the text messages from her without him knowing, or here comes the calls. You're sneaking to call me to apologize for something you set up. You set me up. Like you told him something that you knew that wasn't right, and then now you want to apologize because you knew that I was set up or it was misinterpreted. So honestly, I don't really know if it's even worth that. That's why I said it's up to me to, like I said, I tried to have that relationship, to get that forgiveness, or to tell them that, hey, this is where I am. This is where I forgive you. Let's move on. Let's move past this. But I think they're too old. Some people are too old and too stuck in their ways, and you can change, but they don't want to change. They think that they're okay and what they're doing is right when it's not okay, but in their eyes it is. And I can't change that because everybody believes something else. So at this point, I would say it, but I don't know if it will hold any weight. So that's why I said I needed to forgive people for Tasha. I needed to forgive people to let that hurt go, to be able to be a better person for me and for my children, because that's the dynamic that I wanted to have for my children. So I definitely had to heal from my mother to be able to have a closer relationship with my daughter. And now me and my child has the best dynamic we could ever have by removing everyone else out of our relationships and honestly having a relationship with each other and talk to each other. And we're forced to do things. And now that I've removed my mother, we don't have the attitudes and the fights and the disrespectful things that I was having. We don't have that anymore because it's not someone in your ear telling you, oh, your mother is wrong, or your mother's this. Regardless of what, to me, anybody thinks about my parenting, they're still my children. I'm the only person that takes care of them. So no one should have any weight on a damn thing that goes on with them unless it's something that's harming them, of course. But
Yeah.
So no. To your question, nah, it would be a waste of a conversation.
Yeah. I call my parents brick walls. It's pretty much
It
it is
is.
what it is. I got one parent I don't talk to at all, but the other one I do, and it's like, hey, you might as well talk to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those dynamics. So
Yeah.
I accept it. I move on. I don't have any hard feelings. I still love her. It just doesn't work for me. And at this point in my life, I just have to do what works for me and my dynamic. And like I said, I have to heal, and heal myself. I was in a dark place for a while. I tried to commit suicide twice. Due to everything that was going on and all the hurt and from everybody. Because like I said, the moment when my daughter shot herself, I think that was the trickle of my bad karma, I feel. I was in a dark place for a while. I tried to commit suicide twice. Due to everything that was going on and all the hurt and from everybody. Because like I said, the moment when my daughter shot herself, I think that was the trickle of my bad karma, I feel. That happened because I had this run of bad karma to me. But that's where the dynamic really broke for my family. Everyone blamed me. My daughter also did a lot of lying. So everyone turned their backs on me. No one thought that a child could lie. or no one thought that a child could be wrong. No one even gave me the benefit of the doubt. The only people that gave me the benefit of the doubt were the police that did the investigation. Was like, well, you did nothing wrong. Your child went and looked for it. Your child went in your place, in your room, and got the gun. Those were the only people that, or my outside friends that actually were like, you were a damn good parent. You didn't do any of these. These were hard choices. But ultimately, my parents turned on me. And at that time, my parents were my world. I did everything. And to wake up one morning and your life is flipped. Like, no one wants to talk to you. Everybody is blaming you. Your daughter is in a hospital. Your mind is everywhere because no one ever prepares herself for a child to try to kill themselves. Like, that is a mental capacity that I can't even explain. But it's not a great feeling at all. As a parent, you feel like you failed. You're constantly weighing the decisions that you made to lead up to this and change who you are. Like I said, even in that time, I tried to kill myself because it was a lot for me to deal with. Thank God that I didn't, and He allowed me to go through that hurt to get to where I am now.
Yes.
Look, I do apologize.
Man. Oh
Yeah, but
no, you don't have to apologize for anything. I mean, you got me welling up over here. That's incredible, and definitely thank God for that. And man,
hmm. Oh yeah,
it just feel led to say. I mean, this is all part of purpose, and
yeah.
it's so hard to see it in the moment when things like that going on, like the worst of the worst of things can be that are
Mm.
happening in our lives, but for some reason God can turn all those ashes that we
Ooh,
create or that things that happen in our lives and turn so much beauty out of that. And I think that's what this is part of that you're processing here. I think you're shifting and turning that shift, and not just for yourself but for your children as well.
oh yeah.
Um, man, you mentioned this for this one daughter. I'm gonna ask about the other children as well. Like, how did this relationship, just going back to the husband and the domestic violence and just everything that was going on, how did that affect your children as a whole?
Well, with my daughter, she got more. She turned inward to herself, more secluded. Um, Thought it was very hard to. It almost was the same dynamic of me and my mother relationship. It was hard for her to talk to me. She felt like he was trying to keep a wedge in between us. Um, with her and with my other two kids, my parents don't even act like they exist. They only act like I have one child, and which is my daughter, because it's almost a 8-year age gap in between my kids. Um, so with the boys, my youngest, he's just nonchalant. Let me tell you, my kids are immune to it. And when we started fighting, they just go in a room and shut the door. Because they don't care. The police have been called. It's a norm to them. They know that they just go in a room and wait until the police leave, and he's gonna get locked up, and we'll see him in a couple days, or that's how that dynamic went. Um, we had to do the therapy thing. Everybody had to go through therapy when my daughter shot herself. We all it was affected everybody. So moving through that situation up until my husband and now, we constantly go back to the therapy tools. Even now that we're split, we go back to that dynamic because your kids get immune to being around that, and ultimately it's they think that's okay, and it's not okay, and they think that's how relationships are supposed to be, and that's not. um my youngest to me kind of displays some of the things that he would do, the laziness, the thinking that me and his sister are supposed to do for him, or certain things are woman things.
Mm.
And so I'm trying to unteach or my children or my youngest son that that's not the way that you move through life, and that's not the way men are supposed to be, and it's not a woman thing and a man thing. It's a anybody thing. If it needs to be done, just do it.
Right.
So yeah, it affects kids big time, and I knew it needed to stop because all the fucked up people that we have in the world now had to start from somewhere. So if you let and keep down this road, all I'm doing is creating fucked up adults and that I'm putting out in this world. And I never want to put out anything in this world that's going to be causing anyone else harm. I want to put the best representation of myself and my legacy out. So the dynamic with my husband had to stop. I can't keep going down this road for the sake of my children. It literally came down to how much that I love myself and my children. And
Mm.
ultimately, I love myself and my children way more than I love my husband. And that was
Mm.
truly the reality of it, because I need to. I have to protect my children. And I damn sure needed to protect myself for my children, because nobody's going to love your children like you. No one.
Yeah.
So it affected them a lot. Let me say
Yeah.
that.
And I think this will spark a debate in the comment section, possibly, of what you stated about loving your children more than your husband. And I think the dynamic is different. Just my opinion. You don't have to be yours. Once it's a stepfather or stepmother situation, I don't think because in normal situations, I believe, like if it's just a natural family of mother, father, with their actual kids, that situation, I do think the spouse should always be first.
Mhm.
But once you remarry or once you marry a stepfather, stepmother, come in the dynamic, it's I can't say that. I'm because the kids, it's just a whole different atmosphere. Like the kids, like they never fully, I love this person, I brought them in, but that don't mean that they have to. You get what I'm
Correct.
saying?
Correct.
You have any thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. One instance I can say from my memory and what I can recall from that is, like I said, my stepfather, all I knew from I was 5. I knew my real dad. I spent some time with him, and in the time that I spent with him, I was molested the entire time. So that was the last memory of my real father. And I called him when I got back and asked him, do you even know my birthday or my middle name? Like, this man never even talked to me while I was visiting him. And when he told me over the phone, why are you calling me and why are you calling me with this shit? I would think I was 11 at the time. And that's when my stepdad told me, like, you don't ever have to worry about that man. I've been in your life. I'm going to be in your life. And, that's when he became something totally different to me. But fast forward to being grown and older, the comment came out, you do the shit that you do because you're not my bloodline. You ain't got none of my blood in me. So I definitely get that eventually, some point in time, a person is going to remind you you don't belong to me. You're not mine. When I truly was growing up to believe that you don't have to birth a child to be a parent, because I believed that so heartily with my stepdad up until that comment came out. So it's like, have you always truly kind of felt like this about me, or did you just do it because you only wanted to be with my mom? And it kind of makes sense of some of the treatment that I got from him. Like, they would eat before they got home, so you didn't have to feed me, and so I didn't eat. Or they would leave me by myself and stay gone all day, or do things by. So it was little things that now that I look back on, that kind of made me say, I could see, I could see him playing that you're really not my kid type shit. Yeah. So, and when it comes to my husband, in the beginning, he did do for them, and then it became, like I said, he did for me. He did everything, and then it became where I'm barely even paying a light bill. I'm living. It turned where he was living off of me, and my children, and he wasn't doing anything for them. Or when he got mad at me, then he didn't fool with them or play with them or do things when me and him were pissed off at each other. So he definitely, they could feel the difference when he was mad at me or things wasn't going right. Or if he was mad at me, he would try to buy the kids so the kids would like him more than me, or be saying, oh, your mama don't never got no money to do anything for you. So those were the kind of things that he would do. But I definitely agree with you. Step parents, and again, I'm going to go back to what I said. No one is going to treat your children like you. Or because, again, whether it's a man or a woman, you birthed these kids, so they came from you and your loins at somewhere. So if you're a true parent, you are going to treat your kids like you're supposed to treat your kids. But when like, for example, my husband didn't have any kids. He never had any kids. His first wife cheated on him and got pregnant by someone else, and he found out that his son wasn't his son. So he never had any kids. And to have someone tell you you're a bad parent, that was another a slap in the face. So you've always told me that I wasn't a good parent and I wasn't shit, or I didn't raise my kids. So that's another thing that made my decision easy to say, you don't really love my kids. You don't really love me. So I have to choose us over you. So I agree. Step parents do not all love kids equally. I just, and I really feel like it's the parent, it's the person. Because some people truly do love kids just like they came from me. Because me, I treat children just like they mine. I'm a discipline you like you're mine. I'm a feed you like you mine. I'm a
Right.
talk to you like you're mine, because that's how I was raised. I was raised by my grandmother and older people, so I have an old soul. And the way we were taught is to do food. You cook, you have festivities. So I'm a person that I'm always cooking for everybody. So I'm not gonna give you no money, but I will feed you. I will let you sit on my couch for a couple of hours to come up with a game plan and go on. But I always try to give a person a reset and an opportunity. So yeah, I think it just depends on the individual and what kind of character you have.
No, that's so beautifully said. I really appreciate that. Now I want to go back to what you discussed a moment ago, your brain surgery. First off, that's incredible that you're standing here. I mean, going through all of that alone must have been scary, but I mean, you're a survivor. That's just who you are. But I want to ask this in a particular way. So, being that you are a survivor, did your past experiences help prepare you in any way to battle this recovery and just the procedure and the recovery? How much of your past experiences and the things you've gone through, how much did that prepare you?
What I'm gonna say, what I ultimately leaned on was my faith. Honestly, when you're a PK kid, you kind of stray from church when you get older because you live in church. Quartets, the weekends, the Saturdays, you're in the church 7 days a week. And also, I was taught you take God wherever you go.
That's right.
You read your Bible for yourself. So I don't have to be sitting in the church to get God. But I really went back to that because I didn't have anything else. You have to lay here and not do anything, or when you get up, you feel like you're damn near like I said, 3 times I almost died. The first time when I came out of surgery, I told them something was wrong. I kept telling them something was wrong, but they wouldn't listen to me. And when we kept going, I'm allergic to the sutures to suture you up. I'm allergic to damn near anything regular people. I can't take penicillin, amoxicillin. I can't take regular antibiotics. I'm allergic to all of those. So I'm allergic to a lot of things. So coming to find out, we never knew. I've had surgeries, but it's always been dissolvable stitches, nothing that you of that extent. So I was allergic to them, which allowed me to set up some type of infection that got into my head. They never covered my head. All they told me was to do was go home and wash it with baby shampoo. Nothing. So it got infected. It was so bad that I went to the hospital, and I knew I didn't feel good, but they patched me up and sent me home, took the sutures out, and I got a call the next morning saying you need to come back to the hospital like now. And I'm like, why? I feel fine. At this point, I felt fine. When I got to the hospital, my white blood count cell was so bad, and pretty much non-existent, that they wanted to put me in ICU. But I was laughing and giggling and talking just like me and you. And the man came in there from ICU and was like, I was supposed to be dead. Let me just be real. As bad as it was, I was supposed to be dead. It was so bad that I had to get CDC on my case. They didn't even know what I had to treat. That's how bad the infection had gotten for me. And like I said, I had no white blood count cell to even fight off. So I stayed in the hospital 18 days for that. Then they told me I've always been allergic to hydrocodone. I'm allergic to the codeine. And the brain
Man, you can have none of the good stuff.
no, not at all. So the brain surgeon, now this is the brain surgeon, tells me that it's more than one codeine. Everybody knows codeine is codeine. So she says, you can't take this codeine, but you can take this codeine. So me not being a brain surgeon, I didn't go to school for that. I have to listen to my doctors. I came home, I took the meds. Thank God my husband came home that day with his niece because I was going into anaphylactic shock. Everything was swelling up. I barely could breathe due to allergic reaction to the meds. That was that time. So in the midst of, like I said, 7 months, I almost died 3 times. So this has been hard. Praying. I've had to keep moving as if nothing has gone on with me. And people think just because you can't see a person's illness means that there's nothing wrong with them. I literally can never get rid of this. I only had the brain surgery to release the pressure in my head because my brain was literally going through my spinal cord. So basically what it means is my brain was sliding down my spinal cord, the opening in my brain, and causing the CSF flow that goes through your spinal cord. It was staying in my head. It never was going down your spine and the rest of my body. It literally was just floating in my head and blocked off. So I had so much pressure in my head some days, I couldn't even function. It got to the point where I was going to sleep behind the wheel. I started having seizures. I started having these things called Chiari drop attacks where your limbs just stop working. Literally, you could be walking and you drop things or your legs just give out. Things of that nature start going on. So they basically, I'm missing a piece of my skull in the back of my head about this big and shaved down the top 2 of my vertebrae to give space in my head. But I have a headache every day, even when I go to sleep. It's just the intensity of it or how strong it is for the day. I get 8 injections every month, 4 in the back and 4 in the front, just to numb my head for me to make it through day to day. And people assume just because I smile or I look like this, that there's nothing wrong with me. But I'm literally in pain. I also have fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. So that goes hand in hand with a lot of things. Some days I can barely move and walk because it's that bad. But I've learned to live with it. I'm on about 12 different medications that I take. But it's just, at this point, it's learning how to manage. So I don't let it get me, but it's definitely a struggle. And I wish I could wear a sign and tell people that, hey, I have a disability that you can't see, because people are very inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah. People think, oh, you just have a headache. It's not just a headache. It's not just a headache. If you ever had a migraine, times it by 100. And it's that bad. It's like a jackhammer. Somebody jackhammering in your head all the time. Yeah. So it's not easy, but God, I definitely learned that I'm stronger than what I thought I was. I'm very resilient. So now with anything and the way I move through life, I tell people I'm not the same person that I was when I went into brain surgery that I am now. I'm totally different. I came out a totally different person. I even changed to me overnight with my husband. Like I just woke up and realized that what I was going through and dealing with was bullshit. That I was stuck in life. So I never want to use it as an excuse or a crutch. So I don't tell people, but now I tell people like, hey, I just had brain surgery, so cut me some slack. Give me a break, okay? Some things I don't remember, or it's hard, or I'm still going through it. Like I said, it's a year type thing to even come back from. Driving, housework, everything it affects.
Yeah. Why do you believe God gave you this condition?
That's a good question. Probably because he knew I could handle it. I feel like that I'm very tough and resilient, and regardless of what is handed to me, I'm still optimistic about things. I still don't let it get me. Now, some days it does, but most days you'll never know. People never know, because I don't let that define me. I think he gave it to me, and he gives certain things to certain people because they're strong enough to handle it. Some people, honestly, I don't think could. Um, Deal with some of the things that I deal with. A lot of people would tell me some days that they would have folded. They would have got out of bed. They would still be in bed. So I think he gave it to me because he knew that I could handle it. I always felt like I was special, even when I was a child. So I've been resilient my whole life. I was born sick. Let me just say that. I have always been a sickly person. So I've learned to move through life sick. So I think I just tell people I'm special.
I love it. I love it. So where are you now with your marriage?
So I'm in the process of getting divorced. Through the situation, we had to get a restraining order. So I basically have been going back and forth to court to get the restraining order to provide safety for my children in our home, because he is kind of, well, I'm not going to say kind of, he is the bully type. He originally, we had a temporary, and me being the person that I am, I just wanted him to go on, but he's just not that person. He wants to make my life a living hell, and he would have came back to this house because he's told me several times, you're my wife. You can't get a divorce unless I say you can get a divorce. You can't do this unless I say you can do this. I'm coming back to the house soon in a few days. So when he told me that, I knew that I needed to keep going on with the fight. I knew that if I did not stand my ground and go through with the charges, that I would have never got rid of him, or never been free from him. So I had to. So the judge did grant. Funny thing about it is, it was such a debacle. It was such a. Yet again, he embarrassed the fuck out of me on stand. He didn't have a judge. I mean, a lawyer, so he got to question me, cross-examine me, and it
Wow.
was just ludicrous, to the point of the judge granted restraining orders for both of us. Because he just, at that point, he just said both of y'all need to stay away from each other, which I didn't give a damn how he sliced it, but I got the restraining order for 2 years. So he cannot come around me and my children or any of that. So the kids feel very safe. Um, the type of person he was and who I was, we don't have any assets tied together. Um, the house is in my name. Everything is in my name, down to the damn dog. It's in my name. So he only has the things that he came in with, is what he has. Um, and I started giving things back, but every time that I would be nice to him, he would do something else fucked up, something else mean, something else targeted, and I just feel like it was just enough for me being nice. So I just, after the restraining order thing, they left communication open for us to talk for the divorce wise, but he still has to go through a criminal case because the state picked up the case for domestic violence for him, and also endangerment of the children, because when the kids was here and he choked me in the process and threw me into the kids' room, and the boys were, get off my mama, and he pushed them. So they got tied into the case of child endangerment. So CPS got involved into my life, which is another reason why I had to choose my children, because I'd be damned if I was going to lose my kids behind this man. So when CPS got involved, they had to do a forensic interview with the therapist, and I could not be around. I was not involved, nor did all I told my children was to tell them what they felt. And be honest, because that's their truth and through their eyes. So in the midst of that, and what we found out, that he has physically choked my children. Yeah, when I wasn't around. He's done some hurtful things to them when I wasn't around, to the point where the state then turned a misdemeanor case into a felony case for him.
Yeah.
Which should be, because I believe in discipline a child, but I believe it's a way of doing things. Because if you discipline in the wrong way, that can scar a child. And the child that he did it to is the child now that I'm having issues, like authority issues with. So I'm definitely seeing things with him from what happened. So we're doing therapy. We're constantly watching him. But I'm getting a divorce and we're moving forward. I cut off all communications because I just feel like it's healthier. It's less stress on me. It's better for the kids. And it just wasn't going anywhere. It was getting worse. And so at this point, I just cut off communication until I'm summoned by the DA, or until it's time to go to court for the divorce, and hoping that they just grant it to me for domestic violence and we go on about our business, because we don't, like I said, we don't have anything. All it is a piece of paper at this moment with each other. So hoping that goes smoothly and he complies for that reason.
Yeah. I'm hoping on that for you as well, man. It's seemed like a process of powerlessness, that you have gained that power so much, from you taking the power back basically with cutting things off and moving forward with this. And so many, not only women, but men as well. Of course, I have primarily men that follow me, but I have about 25% women that follow me. So I know that they can benefit from that. And with that in mind, with that vein, there may be someone watching this that's like, man, I can totally relate to her story. I can't pull the trigger and leave. I can't make that bold move that she did. I wish I had her courage. Before we end today's call, give a message to that person. What message would you like to convey? I mean, this is what you do now. Your whole channel is dedicated to that healing journey that you have and inspiring others. So what message would you like to provide at this point?
Let me say this to explain a little bit. I have to give credit where credit is due. I didn't pull the trigger. Someone pulled the trigger for me. And I'm going to say this. I knew that I did not want to be in the situation, but I did not feel like it was a way out, or I felt like I wasn't being heard, because every time the police came, it was he would go out there and it would be a good old boy thing. You know how men get together and she's just crazy and she's emotional. How we make no offense, the black woman be sometimes. Well, that's how she's being. So that's how I got to be painted out every time the cops came, to the point of I even had to fight a case because he turned it around on me. So this last time this happened, I fought back and I was ready to go to jail. I had no words. I stood off to the side. He stood off to the side, but it was one particular cop. And I don't know if he had experienced this himself or what made it happen. But when they told me he was going to jail, I said, because I knew it was going to be backlash and I did not want that. So I told him, please don't take him to jail. I will leave my home and take my kids and go somewhere, which I really didn't know where the fuck I would go, because I don't have any family to go. And I bought my home for my children for a reason. But at this particular time, I was willing to leave and leave him with the house just to avoid the bullshit that was going to come later that I knew. And this particular man told me, nope, you're not going to do that. What you're going to do and what we're going to do is press charges. And while he's going to jail, don't let him back, because either one day the phone call is going to be because you harmed him or he killed you. And you can't keep going down this road. So the police really saved me. And I took that opportunity, and I made sure that this go around, I knew something in my spirit, because I had already been manifesting and healing myself while I was going through my depression. I knew what I wanted. So when I got this opportunity, all I could do was ride it, because I knew if I didn't, I would never get out. God is not going to keep giving you opportunities. God is not going to keep giving you an out and you don't take it, because eventually he's going to take his hand off of you, because that's what you want. And he's going to remove his hand off of you, and he's going to leave you in that dynamic because you're not taking heed to the outs. So it was several times that I had chances to get out. And because of what I believed in marriage, I stayed. And I thought it was going to get better. And every time we reset, it was better for a little while, and it went back. If you keep having some things that go on like that, you have to see if it's a duck, it's a duck. If a person is displaying what they're displaying, that's just what they are. And it's no matter how much you keep trying to sugarcoat shit or trying to make it look pretty, they are exactly who they are, and you have to take heed to that. You also have to take heed to the opportunities that you have. And if that's what you really want, take it and do it. And talk to people. See, I was so scared to talk to people and tell people because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I wasn't raised with abuse. I wasn't raised around that. I wasn't shown that. So people were figuring out, why did you accept that? And I couldn't even understand why I accepted some things. Even to this day, I don't know. But I loved him. So I put up with a lot of things due to love, but love ain't supposed to hurt. Love or marriage is not supposed to be how it was. So anybody that's going through what I'm going through, my advice ultimately is talk to someone. Talk to someone that you can trust. Talk to someone that is an outside person. Because sometimes the people that are around you will encourage you to stay in bullshit, knowing that it's not good, but they'll encourage things. And a lot of people around me were encouraging stuff. So I start talking to people that were outside people looking in to honestly tell me what they saw. And they saw the same shit that I saw, and I wasn't crazy. And because a lot of this kept being painted out there, oh, it's just you. Oh, it's just you. It's not, it's just you. And it wasn't just me. So believe your gut, believe your intuition, talk to people, take your out, stand on it. Because sometimes, I've been married to this man for 5 years, and I've been knowing that. Even being mad, that still was my best friend. That still was the person I leaned on. So I still have my moments now where I want to pick up the phone and I want to call, but that can't happen because that's not where God wants me to be. And just like anything else, after a while, it will become easier day by day. So I literally take day by day. I ride God's wave and take it day by day. Take one day at a time. We're so busy trying to shove a lot on our plates and handle it at one time. I had to really just start handling each thing. I'm going to focus on this, and then I'm going to focus on that. And that helped me to stop being overwhelmed. That helped me from stop being scared. That helped me to say, I can really do this. I don't need anybody. I don't really need him. You can manage this. Take all the resources that you can get. Also, counseling. Therapy is a must in the Black community. I don't know why we keep shunning this shit, but we need to talk to folks. We need to get this shit out. We need to we need to be heard, because some of the shit that we think is okay is not okay. It's not. It's not normal. It's okay to feel a certain type of way, to have feelings. We're told not to feel, and when we do have these feelings, we don't know how to control them, or how to use them, or how to speak. So it's okay to have all those emotions. It's okay to feel any of that. Just take it one day at a time. Follow your gut and talk to people, but don't take everybody's advice. Take what works for you, because some people will give you advice that's bullshit, that works for them, but it doesn't fit for you. Take whatever works for you. Don't be scared. I think being scared and change and the unknown is another reason why women don't leave, or we stay, because we're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, or I don't know how I'm going to live out here, or I just don't know what's going to happen, or I do know at least he does pay the bills, or he at least, no, it's not at least. We shouldn't be at leasting. It's okay. Damn it, if the lights get cut off or you're sitting in that motherfucker by yourself, at least at least you're by yourself. And you, I mean, it probably seems so jacked up for me saying that, but you can, the statement of you can do bad by your damn self, it's true. You don't need nobody to help you. I got rid of a 300 and something pound weight. You know how easy it is to just focus on you and your kids instead of another grown person. So it's okay. It's okay to be by yourself for a little while, and learn who you are. Because I think we're scared of being alone or being by ourselves. And people will put up with anything just to say that they have a man or have somebody. And it's okay. If you let go of that bad apple, God will bring you exactly what you need. And the thing that I learned through letting go of that bad relationship, the things that God had in store for me, he was not giving them to me while I was married to him, because I wasn't supposed to have any of that with him. And I know that sounds so jacked up, but some people are not meant to go where you go. Some people are lights, and some people are darkness. And darkness will hang on to a person that has a light all day long and try to diminish that. And I believe that I had that, and he took that. So it's okay to walk away and be by yourself, to let God give you everything that you need. And the moment that I let that man go, not one light has been cut off, not one water has been cut off, not car notice, car is still here. I may be behind and struggling, but God has been providing everything that I have needed, down to the job, down to I am still helping other people. And I barely got it my damn self, but he's still blessing me. And I haven't skipped a beat since this man walked out on me and left me with everything. So trust in God. That statement of faith of a mustard seed is so true. You gotta believe that he got you no matter what. And you already getting your ass whooped. It can't be no worse. You already going through mental, like, at this point, what the fuck else could happen? Like, so being alone is like, screw it. And so at this point, just do it. Just, like Nike, just do it. That's what I can do on that. Screw it. Man. And that's how I lived through it. What else could go wrong? What else could happen? What's the worst anybody can do but say no to your ass, and then you regroup. That's it.
That's so real. Man, one of my biggest takeaways in that beautiful statement you had there, you said he was a 300-pound weight lifted off. I thought Hebrew Israelites had like a weight requirement or something like that. Like they had
That's why I
You ain't
said
following
he
nothing,
was
but
a fake one. He was a fake one. He took what he wanted out of that religion, but he was not serving it like the right way. And you in 300-pound weight, it lifted. I lost weight. So I had to lose some more, but I definitely lost weight. My spirits, people saw my spirits got better, my kids got better, the energy in my home got better. So life will get better when you get rid of that weight. Let me just say,
I love it. I love it. Man, this has been incredible.
yes, it
Nana, I
has.
really appreciate it. Tell people, uh, I guess, where and how they can find you and how they can follow you.
I am on all platforms, Beautifully Nana. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Lemon 8, all those wonderful platforms that you guys can follow me on. Message me. I am an open book. I love to talk. I love to encourage people. I love to help folks if I can. So, like I said, I'm a hairstylist. So if it's any children out there that are less fortunate or women that are battered trying to get back into the work field that need hair and makeup done to make themselves feel beautiful, or if they just want to feel beautiful, please reach out to me and I will donate my services for that, because every woman needs that. And when you look good and you feel good. So definitely that is something that I always try to give back. And so that is that, and that's where you can follow me.
So awesome. So awesome. Thank you once again for coming on. It's been an amazing conversation. Hey,
Thank
what's up,
you.
everybody? My name is Mel. Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for checking things out here. Oftentimes we go on people's pages and are like, man, what is going on here? What is the purpose of this channel? So let me be clear. The purpose of this channel is to speak truth regarding the nuclear family. And when I say truth, I'm not saying my truth, not your truth, but the Lord's truth. All about the word, all about the ways and the will of God. What does he have to say about the nuclear family? And I believe the generations of today, whether it be Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever the case may be, I believe now we have a very toxic relationship regarding marriage, regarding family, regarding having children. We're in a toxic dynamic as we speak. And honestly speaking, a lot of the answers that we're looking for in our community, a lot of the cures and a lot of the answers would come from a proper, fulfilled family home. If you go down the line of everyone's individual trauma, there you will find some negligence or some type of issue that they had with their parents. So here on this channel, we address those things head on. We don't place fear in those issues and avoid the topic. We do what Jesus did. And when he said, don't assume that I came for peace, but I came with a sword. I came to turn family members against family members if it means you following me. If you have to cut them off, if you have to address them and have arguments for you to follow me, so be it. And I think at this point in our society, we're at the so be it stage. So here at Life Coaching by Mel, I'm all about bringing healing to that. And the number one way to do that is have honest conversations. So if that's something you like, that's something you're into, that's something you really want to be a part of, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think about everything. I do my best to respond as often as I can. I want to hear from you guys. This is not about me. It's about healing our nation, healing our states, healing our cities, healing our community, healing our homes. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go.